it's Bonnie at Discover Sewing. We have had a lot of people this week that had tension problems on their embroidery. So I wanted to show you a few things how to adjust your bobbin tension. Now, in the past, we always said, don't touch your bobbin case. Well, we don't want you to touch your original bobbin case because it is set at the factory, but it does not know all of the different threads or the designs. It's set, the way it's set. So we really encourage you to buy another bobbin case. So I want to show you a few of the samples. Now on this one, of course, the front is beautiful and there's no white thread coming up at all, which is what you want. And then when you look on the back, you see just a little bit of the bobbin thread. It's not pulling the top thread, the colored thread on top, way down there. So really this is a perfect tension. Now this one was done on a design that was built into a Viking, just stitched it off with Floriani thread and it was perfect. So this is kind of what you want to get to. Let me show you two that are bad. Okay, so I have pink on the top. I do have white bobbin thread in here, but you don't see anything at all. On this one, you don't see any white, which would be your bobbin thread. This means that you have too tight of a bobbin case where it's pulling that pink all the way down. On this one, what you're going to do on your bobbin case, let me see this little teeny screw, and this happens to be a brother bobbin case and it's green, but all of your bobbin cases will have two screws. This one has a little slot there. You want to do the one, okay, this is where your tension is on your bobbin case. You want to do the screw that's right here. So my tension is too tight on the bobbin case here. Instead of messing with everything else, I'm going to loosen it. I don't see all of this. So you're going to get a little teeny screwdriver. Again, don't do this on your bobbin, your original bobbin case. Do it on your extra one that you purchased. So I just put this in, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Want to loosen it. Now I'm not going to turn it and turn it. Right now you can see it's in this position. Just put that in there and some of them are really tight. Just push it and I'm just going to turn it a hair. Okay, then I'm going to try it. That would probably not be enough on this because it's so tight, and I exaggerated this one. You probably wouldn't ever see it this tight. Just loosen it up a little bit and try it again and you're usually good to go. Now on this one, it was too loose, my bobbin case, so I wanted to tighten it. I would go a little bit to the right to adjust it. So again, this really is what you want to see. Just a little bit of the top coming down.
What machines would you want to have a separate bobbin case for sewing and embroidery?
For sewing and embroidery, I would have a separate bobbin case for any brand because there have been times, most of the times mine are still perfect, but there have been times that I need to change it. And of course, we have all the brands here in the store and I sew and embroider on all of them. Also, the Husqvarna Viking and the Fofs and Genomes, the plastic is a really hard plastic, so I've never really had to replace my bobbin case. The Brother and the Genome have a soft plastic. If you accidentally break a needle and that needle goes down into the bobbin case, you can't buff that out. It's easier to damage those. You're sewing in the middle of the night, just an extra bobbin case is great to have. Just you don't want to run out of thread, you don't want to run out of stabilizer, and you want to have a good bobbin case ready to go.
And when you're testing embroidery, what's a good stabilizer fabric and what design would you use to test?
I usually test a built-in design that came with that machine. Then it doesn't really matter what stabilizer or, just a cotton fabric. It doesn't matter. We're looking, you want it to be stable. Don't just do it on a piece of stabilizer. Have a piece of scrap of fabric and a stabilizer so that you have both. When you compare one to the other, you want to have the same fabrics. You don't want to be on a fleece or anything like that.
Any needle or thread recommendations?
I just use an embroidery needle. There are other specialty needles for embroidery, but I'm checking tension. One thing I do see that people have their machine service. They bring them back in because something is messed up. It's usually how the thread is coming off on the top. So if you're having an issue, your thread breaks, you rethread it, you still have a problem, kind of watch as your thread goes off, that it's not dragging on that thread spool. You see your bobbin thread here, your white thread, just a little bit of your top coming down so it's a balanced tension. They'll say, well, adjust it for my embroidery. I don't care about the sewing. Well, we have to adjust it in the sewing mode, and then that should take care of the embroidery. But because, again, there's so many different threads and things and different kinds of bobbin thread, you may have to adjust a little bit. So just a few quick tips to help you get a perfect tension. Thanks for joining us today.